Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. There is no music today because this is the first time I'm trying to go live, so we're going to see how this works. We're just having fun tonight. I'm just learning. Um, I've got a whopping almost 60 views on my first two videos, so we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing goes. Honestly, I think I have more fun recording videos than I do with the audio. So I don't know what the deal is going to be with the podcast. Maybe the podcast is just going to be recordings of these videos. It's just more fun. It's easier. I can do it. I can record. Got my Red Sun Superman here, so like I'm pretty much down to like just do it. It's easier. I can just do it when I want. There's no editing. I can just say what I need to say. So today was a great episode of New Jersey Revolution Radio. Thank you to Brian for having me on. Thank you to Daryl for being part of the discussion. Daryl's awesome. He always has something intelligent to say. Brian is just like totally a visionary with New Jersey Revolution Radio, and I'm so thankful to just be a part of it and to be able to guest host, to be a regular contributor. I never really talked about, like, growing up. I was never really had a lot of friends, never really took part in a lot of different organizations. So to be a part of New Jersey Revolution Radio, it feels good. And to get to guest host occasionally this week and then next week also. So if you got nothing to do, come check out our program next week. It's a lot of fun. Just got a lot of fun doing it. But whenever I either as a guest host or contribute to New Jersey Revolution Radio, I kind of go a little overboard with the notes. Brian likes to bust my chops and say that I can just keep talking, and I can just talk. I mean, I like to talk. It's what I'm good at. I'm talking to you now. I talk on the podcast. I've been called a really good conversationalist. There's a lot of things that I could talk about, so I do end up having fun. But unfortunately, whenever I go to New Jersey Revolution Radio, I always end up making a little too much notes, and I don't really get to just address it all. So I think tonight I'm going to do that. We had a really excellent discussion. If you're not following New Jersey Revolution Radio, you're really missing out. There's always good interviews, whether it's arts, whether it's politics, whether it's history. There's always something interesting happening, and it's just fun to be a part of it, just to say that I'm helping out with the project of New Jersey Revolution Radio. But like I said, I mean, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to address tonight. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is apparently we're all Pinkertons now. Thank you, Comrade Pinkertons. I'm just joking. The Pinkertons aren't good guys. But so just looking at the notes I had. So basically in Denver, Colorado, there was something going on, and basically, as usual, right-wing assholes showed up with their weapons, with their faux macho bullshit, a bunch of out-of-shape, fat, old white dudes sticking their nose into business that didn't belong to them. I never really want the right-wing conservative view on things. I never really care what a Trumper thinks, because it's always going to be backward. It's always going to be wrong. It's always going to have some racist crap into it. So, you had some goofy Trumpers who were, messing with some rally, and then you had a guy who was acting as security to a news reporter, and the Pinkertons are trying desperately to say that he wasn't one of them, that he was like a subcontractor of a subcontractor, whatever nonsense they're trying to work out now. But in a nutshell, this is what happened. There was a rally. Right-wing assholes with weapons showed up. A right-wing asshole with pepper spray sprayed a security guard. That security guard pulled out a gun and shot him and killed him. So there's a dead fascist. And I mean, it's sad because it's the loss of life, but we're talking about a person, and I know nothing about this person, but if you got into your car and you drove to a place to stand with Donald Trump, who has just like repeatedly come out in favor of white supremacy, there's nothing about his history that doesn't say he's not a bumbling racist idiot. Whether it's Central Park 5, whether it's disrespecting Mexicans or Muslims. I mean, Donald Trump is just a racist piece of garbage. So if you're a Trumper, you're telling me you are a racist. So as a man of color in America, if you want me to sympathize with you, it's not going to happen. And Trumpers are macho jackasses who continually, repeatedly bite off more than they can chew. And we have a guy who picked a fight with a Pinkerton, and the Pinkerton blew him away. I mean, I don't feel bad for the guy because he was a shithead. He is obviously like a creepy Trumper. I mean, he voted for the groper. He voted for an admitted pedophile. He voted for someone who admitted to groping and sexually assaulting women. So I don't feel bad for the guy. I kind of feel bad for the Pinkerton. I mean, legitimately, I mean, this Pinkerton got sprayed with mace and then shot the guy because he didn't know what he was going to do. These people are carrying knives. They don't live in the real world. They're not rational. They are conspiracy theorists, and there's millions of them. And this guy, this Pinkerton, I don't know anything about him, nothing about this guy, but he's living in a world where this is the reality. These people cannot be trusted. They carry weapons. They're racist. They're crazy. They're gun toting. And he blew the guy away because he was in a situation where he felt that he wasn't safe. And I mean, it says a lot to bring mace to a gunfight. I mean, I mean, this Trumper maced a man with a gun. These people are, if you watch the video, they're carrying knives, they're threatening, they're obviously either mentally ill or conspiracy theorists. So these are people that are not living in the real world. These are people that are not rational. These are people that are, for all intents and purposes, incredibly dangerous. And they pepper sprayed a guy, and the guy had a gun, and thankfully he was able to protect himself. I don't feel bad for this Trumper. I mean, the guy is a creep, and I don't think he deserved to die. I mean, that's a shame. I mean, I hope the Pinkerton would have shot him in his legs or something like that. But like, don't attack a guy with a gun. I mean, this is a stand your ground issue. So we're going to see. I mean, if that Pinkerton was, I mean, what's helping out this guy is the fact that he's white, right? So we have white on white crime. A conservative white man presumably shot another right-wing conservative man. So, we'll see how this goes. There was, of course, the predictable far-right disinformation campaign trying to call a Pinkerton a fucking Pinkerton. Like, someone from the left, and this is the problem with conservatives. Not only do they lie, they are totally just clueless of history, whatever, right? I mean, but it was crazy. And also, I do have to say a special shout out to the jackasses in the Denver Police Department. So did you see the image of these stupid cops with assault rifles on the Pinkerton who shot the Trumper? It's offensive, right? First of all, these cops, what were you doing this whole time? Like, people show up with weapons to a rally, and the cops are just totally oblivious to it. So then a Trumper gets shot, and all of a sudden they got assault rifles and they're on the scene. Why would you pull a gun on the guy who was defending his life? Just thumbs down to the Denver PD. Absolute failure. Instead of diffusing the situation, instead of de-escalating the situation, they came at the guy with guns. Could you imagine if he was black? Could you imagine if it was a black Pinkerton that shot that Trumper? They would have opened fire without saying anything. Just the Denver PD, just absolutely just terrible in dealing with it. I mean, like, we have to sit back and say, thank God it was a white on white crime, because those dopey cops probably would have endangered everyone in the area. I just an absolute failure. Police can, this whole time during the pandemic and the riots and the rallies, police have continually failed across the nation in their reaction to everything that's going on. They cry, they moan, they whine about not being treated fairly, and then they act like a bunch of clowns. Like, I don't even know what to do. I mean, America continues to fall victim to small penis white male power fantasies. I mean, these idiots in Michigan, these idiots in QAnon, these idiot Second Amendment people, it's all just a white power fantasy. It's a white power fantasy. If I see a white man who's talking about Second Amendment rights, and I see a racist, I see a white supremacist, I see a white man that is scared of dark people and cannot wait to shoot them. I see a white guy with a gun, I am immediately just not trusting of the situation. I do not trust white men with guns. I do not trust conservative white men with guns. I don't No, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I mean, okay, so I had this with conspiracy theorists. So every Trumper is a conspiracy theorist. All Republicans are conspiracy theorists. Conservatives are conspiracy theorists. A lot of Christians are conspiracy theorists. But with conspiracy theorists, whether they believe in lizard people or they are these mouth-breathing, knuckle-dragging, racist militia types, they organize into groups like this because ultimately they feel good, right? Conspiracy theorists, I hate saying this, a lot of times they're smarter than average. You've seen this in my talks. They're smart enough to know that something is up with the world, right? They are like, a conspiracy theorist is more intelligent than the average liberal. A conspiracy theorist is more intelligent than the average conservative. The problem is they're still not that intelligent. So ultimately, they end up looking for aliens or lizard people, or they want to blame Jews. It takes like a racist turn, right? You want to be anti-Semitic, you want to go after Jews or Muslims or Mexicans or whatever. It's always some nonsense with these people. But the thing is with conspiracy theorists, whether it's 9/11 conspiracy theories, whether it's moon landing conspiracy theories, whether it's JFK conspiracy theories, the thing is with conspiracy theorists is, especially when they network and they find like-minded individuals, it makes them feel good, right? There's a release of endorphins. They feel better because ultimately they think that they're so smart, that they're so good, that they have everything under control and everything figured out, that it makes them feel better. And of course that's problematic, right? Rather than get a degree in political science, get a degree in sociology, understand how capitalism works, have an being able to articulate a criticism of the status quo. I mean, that takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and most people aren't willing to commit that. So they end up just becoming conspiracy theorists. It's easier to be an anti-Semite than to understand systemic inequality. It's easier to hate Black people or Mexicans or Muslims or whatever than it is to understand how politics and economics work. And that's what you have. I mean, again, I keep saying this. My original lecture, when I first started talking about conspiracy theories, was conspiracy theories as lazy political science. And that's what it is. It's lazy political science. It's people who are too unintelligent to understand how the system works, playing a guessing game at how they think power is. It's embarrassing. It's a joke. And unfortunately, that's modern America. So that's where we're at. So, yeah. And then I got this here. So this is what Brian originally sent me from New Jersey Revolution Radio when he was trying to get me to prepare for today's round table. It was a quote, and it said, "The court ruled that 7 of the 18 former party lawmakers," that's the Golden Dawn, the neo-Nazis in Greece, and again, the Nazis occupied Greece. The Nazis killed 20 million Russians. If you are a Nazi in Eastern Europe, in Greece, in any country occupied by the Nazis, you are a special type of idiot. Period. Nazis are garbage. If you sympathize with them, you are garbage too. But, you know, that's where we're at. But anyway, Greece and its slow and embarrassing criminal justice system, after like 8 years, are finally bringing these trashy, racist fascists to justice. If you saw the New Jersey Revolution radio video today, Brian played it, and there's this fascist, just a member of the Golden Dawn, he slaps a female politician. I swear to God that if I was a cameraman on that shoot, I would have choked that fascist out with my bare hands. I would have walked right up to him, thrown him into a choke, and I'd have just dragged him to the ground on national television. But unfortunately, he was in Greece and I'm over here in the United States. And thankfully, American politics isn't that contentious yet. There are no Republican lawmakers that intimidate me. So if, like, come on, like Mitch McConnell's going to intimidate me, or that goof with the eye patch, like, get out of my face. Like, none of you guys are scary. But that's what they do. They bully. They're white supremacists. They're racists. They're all racists. They all hate women. They all hate themselves. It's like a bunch of like simpering, weak, wimpy man children trying so hard to be macho, and it's absolutely pathetic. It's all the dumb guys, the paste eaters, the knuckle draggers, the dumb kids in school. They've now organized and they're all fascists now. Like the kids who didn't learn the most basic of history lessons are all fascists now. And that's where we're at. That's how it goes. But the courts ruled that those goofs in Greece were guilty. They're going to do time. I think it's like 15 years. Good, lock them up. An absolute failure of European criminal justice is these people could be murderers and you only put them away. Well, actually, the guy who killed that rapper is going away for life. But these are fascists. We should lock them up, and we should send them to a gulag in Siberia. I'm not even going to feel bad for that. These people need to be in salt mines for the rest of their life. I don't care how old they are. I don't like these trashy, racist, woman-hating, self-hating fascists need to go work in a salt mine. That's like what can they contribute to society? What are they going to give us other than division and hate and lies? Send them to a salt mine in Siberia somewhere, and at least society can get something out of them. It's offensive. But I mean, could you imagine? I'm not even going to get to that. Oh, this is also what I want to talk about, are these pieces of trash in Michigan. Donald Trump at the debates just absolutely failed to denounce white supremacy because he is a white supremacist, and Trumpers are white supremacists and they're sexists, and I wouldn't allow them around children. But Trump, when he was asked to denounce white supremacy, couldn't do it. It took him 3 days. He told one group, the Proud Boys, to stand down and stand back. Proud Boys aren't a white supremacist organization. The Proud Boys are not a white supremacist organization. They're just the type of organization that white supremacists go to look for recruits. So it's a middleman. The Proud Boys are a middleman. And if you're a person of color in the Proud Boys, a Latino or a Black person, stop embarrassing yourself. Stop embarrassing yourself. I just... whatever. But when Trump said stand down and stand by, this is what he means. So you had a bunch of uneducated, inarticulate, just racist, white trash, sexists who tried to kidnap the governor. Or I'm sorry, they didn't try to. They were attempting to try to kidnap Governor Whitmer of Michigan because she's critical of Trump. Right? They absolutely failed. The FBI infiltrated them because white supremacy is everywhere, and the FBI knows that. Trump is doing everything he can to help the white supremacists, but they got caught because they're idiots. Trump immediately blamed the victim, immediately blamed the governor, and then immediately sent out tweets to restoke and resupport and reinvigorate the very people who tried to kidnap the governor. So again, if you're a Trumper, you are just getting fleeced. I mean, if you're a Trumper, you are getting grifted in a way that is so indescribable. Donald Trump does not care about you. And the fact that there are people who legitimately think that Donald Trump cares about them, it's sad. Like, you really think he cares about you or your best interest? We're talking about a guy who failed in running a casino, right? He failed at he went bankrupt running a casino, and you put him in charge of our country? Okay, this is what you get. Trash politicians, trash leadership, 270,000 dead Americans. I think every Trumper should wear that albatross around their neck. 215,000 dead Americans, 70 times the death of 9/11. Hope it worked out for you. Could you imagine these dopey white middle-class men who really thought they were sticking it to brown people and women and socialists, and they voted for Trump and he totally fucked everything up? Could you imagine how smart these people thought they were? He's gonna shake things up. Well, I hope he shakes things up enough for you, because we are an international embarrassment. And if you voted for Donald Trump, you are the international embarrassment. And I will never forget the Trumpers. Well, granted, I only know like 2 Trumpers and I don't really talk to them. I will never let you forget this. I will bring it up around women. I will bring it up around children that you voted for a groper. If you're a Trumper and you're in charge of kids, I'm going to tell people that you voted for a groper, that you voted for someone who gloated about just creeping on underage girls. I will let everybody know. And because that's how it should be. I mean, being a Trumper, like, we need to be honest. We need to stop treating these people with kid gloves. Right? They are in favor of mocking the disabled. They are in favor of locking up children. They are in favor of breaking up families. They are in favor of sexually assaulting underage women. They are in favor of just like nuking a hurricane, right? Donald Trump is without a doubt the dumbest president in the history of this country. Donald Trump is without a doubt the worst president of the 20th and 21st centuries. He is an absolute failure. It's embarrassing, frankly, that people are still supporting Trump. But there's that. I mean, look, and then in Michigan, you have this piece of trash sheriff with some stupid freaking name, just putting himself in the way of justice, hemming and hawing, being mealy mouthed, just looking to defend these racists that tried to kidnap the governor. He needs to be arrested, and I think he needs to be put behind bars. That sheriff and first of all those terrorists need to be executed for treason. Just hang them, shoot them, do what you need to do. Just being stupid, for not understanding how the world works, right? These guys thought they were living in a movie where you're going to kidnap. It's like, what did they think was going to happen? That people were going to cheer you? I would love to see like how these people did in high school, because there's no way in my mind that these are the smartest people you know. These are the dumb guys in high school, right? The racists, the jackasses, the sexists, the guys who are just puny, pathetic, and weak. These are the people that gravitate to Trump. I mean, either that or you're just a trashy racist. I mean, the fact that there are still like Trump supporters trying to act like he's not racist, like stop, just stop. I mean, half of you don't even know why you voted for him. Well, actually, I take that back. They voted for him because they have a distorted understanding of the world, and he justified that distorted understanding of the world. If you're a conservative and you hate Hillary Clinton, you are a special kind of stupid. If you are a conservative and you hate Hillary Clinton, you are a special kind of stupid, because the Clintons are the greatest Republicans we've ever had. Was it Michael Moore said? He said Bill Clinton is the greatest Republican president we ever had. When a Democrat is telling you that we're going to end welfare as we know it, please, that's a gift horse. But because Republicans are such like pathological conspiracy theorists, they slap that gift horse in the mouth. It's to be an American conservative and to totally drink the Kool-Aid. It's a breathtaking level of a lack of self-awareness. I just, like, my dad would have slapped me as a kid if I was that clueless, right? There's so many oblivious, clueless people in this country who have parents who are just dopey, oblivious, and my parents would not have allowed me to be that clueless. My parents did and would have hit me for being clueless. You don't get to be clueless, right? In the household I grew up with. But there's just so many of these white, dopey, and if they're not even all white, just dopey black people, dopey Latinos, a lot of Puerto Ricans and Cubans, just not knowing how the world works and just siding with Trump. It's absolutely embarrassing. What would happen if Black Lives Matter or Antifa or a Muslim organization or a Black organization or a Latino organization or literally anything other than the far right in this country were conspiring to kidnap a governor? Just the ultimate universal meltdown that this country would have. The Democrats would sell them out so fast, everyone's head would spin. But yet we have Trump blaming the governor for his racism. One of his special advisors blaming her for being the victim. I mean, Trump is totally victim blaming. Trump created this instance and then is asking her to thank him. Thank God I'm not a governor. Thank God I only get I had 60 views on 2 videos. You know, let's pray that I don't get a national platform. Let's pray that I don't get a national platform. Let the Democrats and the Republicans pray that this never takes off, that people aren't. Let them hope that nobody ever listens to me, because it is embarrassing that we're in the situation we're in. Failed media, failed liberals fail all the time. Failed media, just all they did was enable and embolden and help Donald Trump. I just, Could you imagine a black sheriff coming out trying to defend black people trying to kidnap a governor? Christ. And then they say white privilege isn't real. Could you imagine how brain dead you got to be to say white privilege isn't real? It's embarrassing. I mean, these terrorists were talking about blowing up a bridge. Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine as a man of color in America? I am so frustrated at the double standard. I'm not even trying to kidnap anybody. The fact that if you're a white conservative, you could literally get away with attempted murder. You could get it. Like, I don't even know if they're getting away with it, but in the court of like conservative public opinion, they've gotten away with it. It's thank God we got Joe Biden, huh? Jesus Christ. Could you imagine? Oh, wait. It's reality. Joe Biden is the Democratic candidate for president, and we're stuck with freaking Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Low energy, lack of enthusiasm. Joe Biden should be locked up for just not being able to meet this moment. Donald Trump is the worst president of all of our lifetimes. And the fact that Joe Oatmeal Biden, what a disappointment this country is. Just, and then liberals, just like, oh my God. They thought there was, well, Bernie didn't get the support. Yeah, idiot, because he doesn't have the freaking money, because he doesn't have the institutional support. Just these dopey Biden liberals who think that they're so smart. And in 4 years, we're going to be dealing with, like, it is not hard to defeat Republicans, but because Democrats are consistently so mediocre, this is where we're at. I don't know. I'm ready to wrap it up, but I got one last little rant here, and I didn't get to say it on New Jersey Revolution Radio tonight. And this is me calling out all these garbage, low-life school administrators that push to reopen schools. Schools should not be open. Students should not be in school. People should still be wearing their masks. And I think every school administrator in the entirety of the United States that pushed to reopen schools should be fired from their job. And I think they should be investigated and at least charged with child endangerment. Here's the deal. We should not be reopening schools. It has been a disaster. Children aren't learning. The older and smarter and better access, and with more access to technology a student has, the more they're going to be trying to get over. They're going to be cheating more. They're going to be lying more. And they're, most importantly, no one is going to be learning. And if they are going to be learning, it's going to be at a fraction of what they could have learned without this pandemic. So every school administrator, every principal, every superintendent that pushed to reopen, that put these families, these students, these teachers, and the teachers are always last to be consulted, because these let me tell you, these school administrators cannot wait to capitulate to the most ignorant of parents, right? You could be the dumbest parent in the world. A school administrator will buckle under you without even trying, right? Number one, as a school administrator, you need to snap the parents in line. I don't want to hear any Trumpers, just stop. But unfortunately, you know, they're just dopey. They can't do it. But it is a complete failure of leadership that these schools reopened. No schools in America should have been open at all, period. What was the goal behind reopening? I just would love to corner one of these one of these principals or these superintendents and say, like, what was the goal? Because I know what the goal is. Do you know what the goal is? Because I know what the goal is. The goal is not what's best for students. It sure as hell isn't what's best for teachers. It's not what's best for staff. This is all ego. Because every principal, every vice principal, every dopey clipboard having administrator, every superintendent that pushed to reopen, it was ego. They were willing to gamble the health and the safety of their staff, student, and teachers just so they can say they were the ones that reopened, because magically someone's going to give them a better job. They sold out your kids, they sold out your teachers, and they sold out your entire educational system just so they can get better jobs. I do not trust any school administrator that was pushing to reopen. It is a disaster. And anyone telling you otherwise is a liar, period. These children are not being educated properly, and to say otherwise is to just lie. It's infuriating because I mean, education is not hard. Education is easy. The problem is the dumbest people get ahead in education, right? The best teachers do not get ahead in education. So it's second and third rate teachers, opportunists, right? People who are out for themselves, who are willing to use your children as stepping stones to get ahead. I mean, I'm going to say this. Every single school administrator in the United States that pushed for reopening should be fired and charged with child endangerment. Schools should not be open, period. If everyone had worn their masks, we'd be in a different story. But people didn't wear their masks, right? And in schools, people aren't wearing masks. Principals aren't. I have a lot of educators in my family, a lot, and a lot of friends. Principals aren't wearing masks. Secretaries aren't wearing masks. Janitors, just like, why are you allowing this to happen in your school? If you are a principal or an administrator and you are not allowing people to, and you are not enforcing the masks, you are endangering the lives of children and you should be charged with child endangerment. It's frustrating. I don't really know what to say anymore. I mean, this country is a country of low expectations. This campaign is a campaign of low expectations. Joe Biden is a man of low energy and low expectation. I mean, Joe Biden's just a shell of a man. And the fact that United States just stands on the precipice of fascism, and the best we could do is Joe Biden. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And the fact that so many liberals who all think that they're the smartest people in the world, who none of them, you'll never find a liberal who can actually articulate why they hate Bernie. And it's always going to be like some weird, like, I don't want to vote for an old white man, but you'll vote for Biden, or like it's like some faux woke liberal nonsense. There is no instance where Bernie Sanders wasn't the best candidate for president. And the fact that these liberals, right, these Democrats have deluded themselves into thinking that Joe Biden, the guy who couldn't win a primary otherwise, who's getting shellacked when all those other candidates were in it. These pro-Biden Democrats are part of the problem too. Donald Trump is the worst thing to happen to this country in a long time. And these people have gleefully backed up Joe Biden. It's embarrassing and it's insulting. If you are a grinning idiot in favor of Biden, I don't respect you as a person. I don't respect your political savvy or your intelligence. If you don't like Trump, I get it. I don't like Trump either. Trump's a lowlife. I hate Donald Trump, but if you think Joe Biden is a solution, you are the problem. You're just as worse as a Trumper. An enthusiastic Biden supporter is just as bad as a Trumper. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I mean, it's almost 11 o'clock. I'm gonna leave it there. Questions, comments, and concerns, send me an email at perezpodcast@gmail.com. Tweet me at perezpodcast. I'm on YouTube and Facebook, Modernity and Absurdity. Check us out, find us, and take care. I guess that's it, folks. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Take care of yourselves.